Hey folks, Aaron here. Welcome back to another anime review. Today we're looking at episode 13 of March Comes Online, or Three Gots and No Lions, Season 2. Now, in many ways, this was a clearly set up episode to kind of get ready for next week's, probably, I want to say, grand match between Soya and Rei. But the thing was that it was an interesting way of doing a setup episode, because we get two very intriguing things that happen this week. So the very beginning, I think, is almost like meant to be pointless, but in many ways it's just kind of funny. We have the old men looking at like the poster of Rei and Soya going to battle in the shogi tournament, and then they see their pictures of each other because they're also going to be there too, and their pictures are really small. It looks cheaply made versus the other one looks like a movie. Like theirs looks like a high schooler did it, and then you have the other one with Rei and Soya looking like a movie. A professional made that poster, and they get so pissed off. They're like, well, why is it that we look like this, and why is the background so much bigger than us and all that? And he goes, listen, you guys were sick last game, you played like crap, you have these guys who are who are sponsored by people and are loved by people already. Of course yours are not going to be that great. And then they showed a flashback of the game between both of the old men, and it was funny because like one's coughing up a lung because he's on the verge of getting pneumonia, as it says, and the other one is getting a stomach ulcer, so he's having stomach cramps and everything else. So it just looked dysfunctional. But apparently, according to one of the spokespeople, he actually said that game actually did very well with people because it felt realistic. And I guess I could see that because you're seeing a game play out, and people do get sick sometimes, but they're still playing hard. It might be dysfunctional, but it still could be enjoyable. But that was really pointless, to be honest with you. And it's not in a bad way, mind you, but I think it was meant to just chill you out before you get to the really big crux of the episode, for this week at least, and even more so the setup of it, where we see Rei going to the tournament and getting ready for it. And, during the whole setup of the tournament in general, they have like promotional things they had to do. They had also questions with Q&As with both Soya and Rei, which by the way was very awkward for Rei because he's not used to talking in front of crowds like that. But likewise, one thing that we see kind of with Soya is that he's not as, I think, bulletproof as people look at him to see as he is, I should say. I'm sorry, I couldn't think of the words for that. Soya is this guy who has this air about him. As the one guy says, he's got a way with words, and he has this presence that feels so empowering. But lo and behold, when he was thrown off his game a little bit with two questions that kind of you didn't expect, and then had an incident with some waitress with red wine that spilled it all over his coat, he crumbled. And it wasn't in the sense of like he couldn't talk anymore. He just started making up these weird questions like he was prepared for this, and it shows you that he's not much different than Rei in that retrospect, is that he too is probably awkward and probably shy, and also probably just a very inept person when it comes to speeches. But lo and behold, he was able to, I guess, study and figure out ways of getting ready to answer exactly what questions would be answered. But, for the situation that occurred, he wasn't prepared for it. So thus, he just started sprouting out like, oh, are you okay? What happened? And then he's talking about the game tomorrow and how he's prepared for it. Like, what? So you get to see Soya in a different light, and I think Rei's description of it was so empowering that he wasn't ready for the storm that is Soya, because now he's about to finally face him head on in the shogi tournament, but at the same time he's gonna get to know him over the course of these 4 days that they're gonna have this tournament. And I think that Soya is a troubled person, whether Rei wants to believe that or not, or maybe he's starting to realize it. There's something about Soya that's very, I want to say, diminishing and almost, I want to say, sad. Because you see his character and he looks like he's got it all. He looks like he's popular. He's got the cool white suit. He's got the era to him. But, there's something about him that you feel almost like he's distant from the world. And I almost think that they're trying to do a comparison of Rei, if Rei would keep going on his path of life. Like, if he would have never had the sisters get involved with him, if he wouldn't have had Hina, if he wouldn't have the teachers that love him, and even the club members love him, if he didn't have that, I think he'd be Soya. So it's a very interesting comparison between the two, because you have a laid-back version, and then you have the more uptight and just, I want to say, almost formulaic person, which is Soya. So I'm very curious how next week's episodes will play out, because that whole storm, that the way that they were showing each other, and even the setup for the actual first match between Rei and Soya, it really was like intense. And it's surprising because you think that such a like slice of life type show that's about shogi of all things wouldn't have this intensity to it, that you're like watching it and going, You know, you just legit can't, you know, turn away. You want to watch that slow moving scene because you want to see how it plays out. But the show does such a great thing with ambiance and mood and everything that it captures you. And that's one thing I love about March Comes Alive. I think that's why the setup episode, you know, a lot of other shows, if they would do this setup episode, you've been like, oh, I don't really like this, or it's so boring, or this is a terrible episode. But because it's March Comes Alive, you know, this is something to be expected from the show. But even more so, this shows its strength, that even a setup episode can be very intriguing and very, I want to say, important in its own right, because it's foreshadowing. This was key definition of foreshadowing, and I think I'm gonna be excited for next week. I'm definitely gonna look forward to it. What do you guys think about this week's episode, though? Do you have the same opinions as I do? Let me know in the comments below. As always, guys and girls, if you like this review, please think about hitting the subscribe button, sharing the video around, liking the video, and checking my Patreon for various awards, etc. I will talk to you guys later. Have a great, blessed day, everyone. God bless you all. I'm done with my reviews for today. I don't think I have anything else, hopefully, but I shouldn't. But I'll talk to you guys then tomorrow. Bye bye.